Thanks for that, Alex. Now we'll join Alex Dingman and Chris Smith for this week's What's Bugging Us.
Welcome back to Orangeline. Now it's time for the What's Bugging Us segment. Alex Dingman.
Chris Smith.
And what's bugging us this week? Kansas City sports, man.
Shocking.
I mean, the Royals, we're kind of used to it. You know, it's easy being a Royals fan because they lose all the time. So when they win, it's like right on. When they lose, it's like whatever, you know,
right.
They're supposed to. But now, the chefs.
In the cellar.
Not
cellar
cooking
dwellers.
up any victories right now.
Not at all.
Absolutely outrageous.
1-6. Who is Tyler Thigpen? Has anybody else been wondering
Coastal
that?
Carolina, baby.
Really?
I mean, he looked all right on Sunday. However, I don't think he's been going to any Pro Bowls anytime soon.
No.
Most likely, probably not going to be taking the Chiefs to the playoffs in the future.
No.
Herm Edwards came in. We're supposed to be a defensive-oriented team, yet we probably have the worst defense I've ever seen. So I'm not really sure. It's not really adding up for us right now, and it's getting pretty frustrating that we got no professional sports to root for. I had a guy at the mine give me 4 tickets and a parking pass for the Chiefs game against the Titans because he was just like, I don't want to freaking go. Throw
And
up.
the Titans are the best team in the league.
Yeah, but then it was like 28-0 at half, you know, and it's like, well, let's roll out. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to watch this anymore. It's just depressing.
Yeah.
So that's frustrating. However, the national sport's not very good around here, but locally, wow, could not be better.
No.
Baldwin High and Baker, they've completed the Baldwin City football sweep the last 5 weeks now. Both teams winning on the Friday and the Saturday. Baldwin High doing it at Perry-LeCompton, 35-28, but wow, what an amazing game that was.
Big-time district play with some playoff implications was that Perry-LeCompton versus Baldwin game. Baldwin went up 21-0 very, very early, and then Perry-LeCompton, what a comeback, scoring 21 points in 6 minutes, under 6 minutes actually.
Yeah.
Baldwin killing themselves with some penalties and some turnovers, and then the field possession game just killed them.
Yeah, you see, it was 21-0 there, 2:45 remaining first half, and then Perry-LeCompton scores 3 touchdowns there at the end of the first half, make it 21-all, and then they score the first touchdown of the second half after an 85-yard kickoff return, make it 28-21. And Sam Beecher had a couple fumbles there in the second half, which wasn't good. He did have a couple rushing touchdowns earlier. So he's up there reaching about 3,000 yards combined last year and this year. But then Landon Oshman came in, got a couple touchdowns there in the second half. And so they ended up winning that game 35-28. 2-0 in district play, and they play away at Eudora on Thursday instead of a Friday. And that game will be at 7 away at Eudora. Hopefully they'll win that one and then host the bi-district game. And then Baker University, tearing things up as well, setting records. Mac Brown, 433 yards passing, new school record, also now the all-time leader in passing here at Baker University.
Right, and keep in mind, Mac still got another year. He redshirted his freshman year.
Unless he gets drafted.
Colorado.
Obviously.
True enough.
Yeah.
But if he comes back, I mean, these records are going to be shattered. He broke the 30-year record for all-purpose yards in one game with 478. Was able to get some rushing yards on top of his 433 passing. Kicked in 4 touchdowns. What an amazing game. Obviously got the game ball afterwards from Coach Grosser. But important to note, Tyrell Spain, Brad Fawcett also had over 150 yards receiving. Richie Bryant, 120 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns. How do you pick the MVP of that game? I mean, clearly, you know, it has to go with Matt because he was the leader of that offense, but everybody, you know, playing awesome defense. What can you say? Another awesome performance. They only allowed 14 points against a tough Central Meth team, and just really clicking on all cylinders, both sides of the ball. Special teams playing well. Adam Steele still recording tackles, had another big game. 5 or 6 tackles, I think Coach Grosner told me. He was able to bust through those wedges again. So Baker football is still on a roll.
Yeah, Alpheus Williams now leading the hack with sacks in that category, and that's really impressive too because they got about 5-6 guys they rotate in there. So for him to get that amount of sacks is really a nice thing. And that offense, you know, you get a quarterback over 400 yards, you get a running back over 100 yards, and 2 wide receivers over 100 yards receiving, you're probably going to win, and most likely means that those big boys up front are doing a good job. So give the MVP to those 5 offensive linemen there. So an impressive display there. And then also, seems like Central Methodist was a good opponent here for Baker University Athletics because the soccer team also completing the sweep.
They were the victims this week. The soccer teams pounded Central Meth on their senior night. 2 great victories, a 5-1 on the women's side, a 5-0 for the men. Had some senior score from the men, which is always nice considering it was their last home game here at Liston Stadium. Congratulations to Gerard Grehan, Micah Nelson, John Baldwin for scoring those goals. And then how about Steven Stewart, a freshman coming in, getting the brace, 2 goals on the night, opened the scoring, and then scored again about 10 minutes later in that match. And then that just added on to his momentum from the previous game against William Jewell, where he scored with 30 seconds left to break open the tie. They win 3-2 on the road, a huge result in the HAC Conference. And now the men certainly rolling. If they win out, which looking at their schedule, it certainly looks like they could, they will be the Heart of America Athletic Conference champions this year.
Yeah, they got that big Graceland match that's coming up fairly soon. And also the women winning 5-1 as well, and now 4-2-1 in conference play. So both teams in position here, and with how the soccer is this year, where you got to win the conference tournament, obviously getting that seed is going to be important. And both teams up there high in the conference. So you got ball and high football about to go into state here, hopefully 3-0 in district play, meaning that they'll have a high rank in that and be hosting maybe a couple games, at least the bi-district game. And then you got Bacon University, where if they can knock off Missouri Valley this week, everybody show up, buy a shirt. I know it's $5, but go ahead and buy it. It's going to be crunk. And Missouri Valley is 7th right now. We got to get that. Yeah, I said crunk. I said it. And then we got to get that win. And then we got Mid America the next week, who's a top 5 team. Get those 2 wins. Finish at Avila, which should be cupcake game there. Hopefully.
3 fall sports team heading to the playoffs.
There we
That's
go.
my prediction.
Everybody. National championships everywhere.
All around.
Dan Harris going out on top like a champ. Heck yeah. Alex Dingman.
Chris Smith. Let's take a break.
Got to think about it. Let's go to commercial.